We are back to the Spirit's book. We are, let me share here. We are finishing the item, the attributes of the divinity. The last item is pantheism. We started last week. Just as a reminder, what is pantheism? Pantheism is the belief that the reality is identical with the divinity and all things compose an all-encompassing immanent God. Okay, so the idea is that everything is, God belongs to is part of the creation and is within the creation as we all are. Again, it is an idea that has existed for a very long time. You will find in the Greek philosophy, you will find in the Eastern religions, in Confucius, in Hinduism, in Taoism, in the Sikh religion. So this is a concept that has been with humanity for some time. The word pantheism is a word that was created in the 17th century. And what popularized on the Western culture was based on the work of the philosopher Spinoza in the 17th century in the book Ethics. So that's why Kardec asks the spirits about pantheism because it was and still is to this day discussed. If you in the 21st century, you'll find the son of Carl Sagan, the famous astronomer, scientist, on a book published in 2007, defending pantheism and saying that his father believed in the God of Spinoza and Einstein. God not behind nature, but as nature, equivalent to it. So you see that this is a concept that is still out there, still very much discussed. And I think it's important for us to understand what the spirits tells us about pantheism. We discussed the first question last week. There is actually a mistake that Luis brought to us in the answer. The first phrase, if it were the latter, not the former. Important if you have the book and you were not here last week. The answer on the question 14, you replace former for latter. Okay, that's the small mistake. And the question that there is twice, or as some believe, that all these are being corrected in this new Spirit's book that is being released with a new cover that is coming out this month, okay, or beginning of next month. So we're going to start on question 15. We discussed last week, question 14 talks about pantheism, that God cannot be both cause and effect. God is outside the creation because the creator cannot be the creation. And pantheism puts everything together, us, God, creation, as everyone is the same, everything is the same. And that we are going to discuss more, but basically what the Spirit tells us here is that first, God exists, but God cannot be the cause and effect. Okay, so Zoraida, are you going to read for us? Or, you know, Philip's not here today. Yes. No, Paco, okay. Nor Paco, so see you, Zoraida.
Okay, 15.
Yeah.
14.
15.
Okay. What about the concept that all of nature, beings and worlds of the universe are parts of the divinity, and they are in their entirety divinity itself? That is the pantheism doctrine.
Pantheistic.
Pantheistic. Okay. Human beings cannot be God. Upon recognizing this, they want to at least be a part of God?
That's a very direct answer from the spirits, right? Because pantheism is a creation of human beings, right? Pantheism it's not something that came from the spirits. We may have misinterpreted what the spirits have tried to tell us in the ancient times, and so we came with this idea of pantheism because it makes us human beings be part of God. So a definition of a God that is part of nature, that we are part of God, that all together is it's very reassuring to human beings. But the spirits here are very direct and simple. Human beings cannot be God. Upon recognizing this, they want to at least be part of God. So the spirits are very direct. There is it doesn't make any sense, but still have the it's still out there, pantheism. Okay.
But what about when Jesus said, "You are God"?
Yes, you can do what I do and much more. He complements there, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because what Jesus tells us is that God is inside of all of us. So we, as the creation, we carry the divinity within us, but not in the sense that we are the divinity. We carry the creation, the divinity inside of us. So we are able to do extraordinary things. And when Jesus says that you can do what I do and much more, which, for me, it took me a while to understand. You have to understand that Jesus, as an incarnate being when he was here, even as a perfect spirit, he was limited by the physical body and by an incarnation. So he couldn't do everything that a perfect spirit can do. So when he said you can do much more, meaning when you are perfect spirits like me, you can do more than what I'm able to do here, restricted by this physical body. So when Jesus said we are all gods, he says in the sense that we are all creations of the divinity, and we carry the divinity inside of us, meaning we are able to perform, we are able to reach close to the divinity. And when we study the evolution of spirits, and we study that a little bit on the introduction, we know that as we become perfected spirits and we get very close to God, we are co-creators of the universe in the sense, not in the sense of the creator, but in the sense that we are working directly with God. So it is in that sense that Jesus told us.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything anything to add here, Elmo?
No, I don't think so. It's first thing to consider is the limitation of the Aramaic language that Jesus spoke to. That perhaps if you have the luxury of a language with a huge lexicon like English, he would say that in a different way. But second, the meaning is exactly that. We have the possibility of creation. As much as we evolve, we become at a higher level co-creator with God, but not that we are gods. We have the potential to act in the creation in association with God.
Yeah, I think while we are incarnated, that makes us we cannot feel like God. Maybe when you are in a spiritual world, you can understand this better. Because here, I don't know, I feel when we study as well, we are like in a prison. You are so limited down here.
Yeah, we are limited by our physical body. You are absolutely right. And the physical body it creates a cloud on our understanding of this, our spiritual nature. So you are right that when we are back in the spiritual world, we have the possibility of understanding better. Possibility. It doesn't happen to everybody because a lot of people, you know, they have their own ideas and they carry those ideas to this back to the spiritual world. So that's why you don't really change when you go back to the spiritual world. You just, if you are open to the spirituality, to spirit to the spiritual things, then when you are back in the spiritual world, of course your horizons will open up because you have many more possibilities in the spiritual world. But these are for those that are prepared for that. And in that sense, you're right, Marisa. Here we are much more restricted on our ability to understand the divinity and to connect with the divinity. It's more of a challenge.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, João.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Okay, 16. Those who support this doctrine claim to find some of God's attributes in it. As there are an infinite number of worlds, then God is infinite. As vacuum or nothingness is nowhere, God is everywhere. Since God is everywhere and everything is an integral part of God, God gives an intelligent purpose to all natural phenomena. How can we oppose this reasoning? Reason. Think long and maturely about the assumption in question, and you will have no trouble finding its irrationality. This doctrine makes God a material being who, despite being endowed with supreme intelligence, would only be a large-scale version of what we are. However, as matter is incessantly transforming, God would have no stability if this history were true. God will be subject to all the instabilities and needs of humanity. God will lack one of the essential attributes of divinity, the quality of being unchangeable. The properties of matter cannot be attributed to God without lowering divinity in our thoughts, and all the subtleties of sophism fail to solve the problem of God's essential nature. While we do not know all that God is, we know what God cannot be. And the theory stated above directly contradicts God's essential attributes. It mistakes the creator for the creation, as if one were to consider a clever machine to be a vital part of the engineer who designed it. God's intelligence is revealed in the work of creation as an artist in his or her canvas. God's works are no more part of God than the canvas is the artist who painted it.
Yeah. So here it's interesting because, again, the spirits give a very short and direct answer to the question by Kardec. The question by Kardec is if God is everywhere, is infinite, isn't we part of this infinite and this God? So everywhere and everything is an integral part of God, according to the doctrine. And the spirits just answer us directly. Use reason. Think long and maturely about the assumption in question, and you have no trouble finding its irrationality. Directly. Then Kardec thinks that that's not enough, that we need an explanation, and that's why he puts 3 more paragraphs to explain to us that have no ability to understand the spirits. You know, in a sense, what he's saying here, which makes a lot of sense, is that matter is transforming all the time. So matter comes from the universal fluid, and we are going to study this in the next. We're going to start this in the next item, studying the universal fluid. and matter is transforming all the time. So if God belongs to all this part, God would have no stability. God is perfect, is unchangeable. If God was part of this whole, God will be also changeable, and that would go against the attributes of the divinity that we studied last week. And then Kardec says a very interesting phrase here. While we do not know what all that God is, we know what God cannot be. And and then he uses a beautiful example, right? It's as we are saying that a canvas, an artist that painted a canvas, that the artist is part of the painting. The artist is not part of the painting, and the engineer is not part of the machine that the engineer built. That's how we can logically reason that God cannot be a part of God's creation. God created, so the creation, the creator cannot be a part of the creation. Otherwise, you would completely lose all the sense and our ability to understand creator and creation if we cannot separate them. The same as we are going to see in the next item, as we separate spirits from matter or from universal fluid, that we are not matter, we are not universal fluid. Our physical body and our spiritual body are, but we spirits are not. So, we're part of the creation, but the creator is not part of the creation. This cannot be because, again, just using reason, it doesn't make sense. Okay? Comments, questions? This is the end of chapter 1. This is the end of Pantheism. Okay, we're going to move into a different chapter.
Okay.
So if you have any questions about Pantheism, otherwise we move forward. So chapter 2 is the general elements of the universe. Again, we started chapter 1. It has to be God. We have to start with God. So we study God. We study the attributes of the divinity. We started with what is God. And then we finished studying Pantheism, which is the idea that God and the creator and creation are one and the same thing, which doesn't make sense. Now, we are leaving God behind, and according to our friend Julio, we will only find God again in Genesis, in the last book of the codification. But of course, that's not entirely true. We are going to talk about God a lot throughout the book, but we are not going to study what God is and the attributes of the divinity. We are going to use from now on God as the creator and the creation as part of what God came with, right? So general elements of the universe, we're going to study. There are 4 items: knowledge of the first principle of things, spirit and matter, properties of matter, and universal space. Okay? So
okay.
Let's start.
So the first principle of things, 17. Does humankind have the ability to understand the first principle of things? No. There are things that God does not reveal to human beings here in this world.
Okay, so can we understand the creation? Can we understand the process of God's creation? And the spirits are very directly, no. There are things that God does not reveal to human beings here in this world. This is very important, okay? He's not saying that God never reveals to spirits. He says God does not reveal to human beings here in this world. Why is that? Because we are not evolved enough to understand. We can barely understand our surroundings, our stage of evolution as we are here. How can we understand the first principle of things, in the sense that there are not even words to describe. If the spirits would try to explain, they would say there are not words to explain that. So it's what they are saying here when it says that God does not reveal, it's not that God is hiding things from us. It's not. It's just that there's nothing that we do not have the ability to understand the first principle of things. That's why it's not revealed to human beings here in this world. Again, when we become perfected spirits, we will understand the creation, and we will work directly with God in the creation. So eventually we will, and we'll see this later. Okay.
Okay.
And it's actually the second question. Just read and then I will comment.
Okay. 18. Will human beings ever be able to penetrate the mystery of things that are concealed from them? The veil will be lifted as human beings achieve their purification. But to understand certain things, they need faculties that they do not yet possess.
And again, the spirits are telling us here very clearly, right? That eventually, yes, when we achieve purification, the veil is lifted, slowly lifted. But to understand certain things, we need faculties that we don't have. When we study the spirits in the spiritual world, why less evolved spirits cannot go above their level? The spirits, the more evolved spirits can go all the way down, but to move up, you have to evolve morally and intellectually, because we lack things. And what the spirits are telling us here is, you lack the faculties to understand certain things. Again, you are not going to teach college degree to a 5-year-old. 5-year-old will not understand anything. First, they have to learn how to read and write. They have to learn how to add and subtract, and all the basic learning process until they reach the college level. So we are children in this understanding of universal truths. So what we can understand nowadays, it's already a lot, but eventually we'll get the mystery of the creation. But at this stage, we are still trying to understand things around us. And there is a lot, and we are going to talk about science next. Okay, comments, questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny.
Yes.
I think we should point out, or at least in my interpretation, is that could you roll up a little, showing 17 as well. Question 18 talks about our ability as humans to be able to penetrate the mystery of things that are concealed from us. Not only this one particular mystery of the first principle of things, but in my interpretation is more general. He's asking, well, there are things that are mystery. Are we going to be able to, penetrate all of those? And the answer is no, because some of those things, we don't have faculties yet to comprehend them. So I think it's much more general, not limited to the first principle of things. Personal interpretation.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yes, and actually, when we talk about what have we discovered since say 1857 to today, right? We lift the veil of many things, right? We acquired a lot of scientific knowledge, understanding of the universe, and other things that we didn't have at that time. So yes, you are right. It talks. The question is more generic here, and the answer talks
Yeah,
about humans as we evolve as human beings, not even as spirits. They talk here as human beings.
yes.
You're right.
And together with the next question that we're about to read, what's essentially being said is that there are things that you will never be able to understand. Some of the mysteries you'll never be able to. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 19. Can humankind penetrate some of the secrets of nature through scientific investigations and research? Science is a means of development for human beings, but they cannot surpass the limits set by God. The further humans penetrate the investigation of these mysteries, the greater the veneration of the power and wisdom of the Creator should be. However, due to pride and weakness, human intelligence often leads to misconceptions. Humans pile systems on top of systems, and every single day they learn how many errors they have mistaken for truths and how many truths they have dismissed as errors. This amounts to more disappointment than human pride can bear.
Again, a short answer from the spirits, longer explanation by Kardec. Here we are talking about human scientific investigations, and the spirits are very direct and saying that science is a means of development for human beings. Remember, at that time, science was separating itself from religion, freeing itself from the domination of religion, and moving away from any concept of spirituality that still up to today, science has a lot of difficulties in dealing with the spirituality and everything that goes beyond material things. But one thing that it's important to talk here is when he said they cannot surpass the limits set by God. What are the spirits talking about? Well, we have a natural law that is perfect. And that natural law imposes limits on our evolutionary path, imposes limits on how much we can understand and learn as we evolve. So the more and more we evolve, the more and more we are expanding these limits. So these limits is not that, it's not a wall that we hit the wall and can never surpass the wall. The limits are according to our level of evolution. So the limits of our understanding on the 19th century are different from the limits of our understanding of this century. So the limit set by God is really based on the natural laws and our ability to learn and understand according to our evolution and to our stage of evolution that we are today. And again, Kardec then comments that due to our pride and weakness, we make mistakes and we assume errors are being truths, and then we sometimes dismiss truths as errors. And we just have to, the example of Earth being the center of the universe, and then the solar system being the center of the universe. These were truths that we believed. And then slowly we moved away. And nowadays, we know that our solar system is a very irrelevant system in the universe, part of a galaxy that is not very big galaxy, and part of a universe. So, but we are evolving and learning. We understand better as we go, right? I'm sure many of you saw the Mars pictures and the videos this week, and how much we are all progressing and in the investigation of the universe and learning more things. So these limits that are set by God are our own limitations according to the natural laws, to the divine laws. Okay.
Yeah.
Questions, comments?
We are so behind.
Yes, but the good thing is it's up to us to evolve. It's for individual and collective effort. Yes, we are, and sometimes we are strongly reminded, like this pandemic that we are facing, how we are still struggling to understand the divine truths.
Yeah. What can we do? For some reason, we are here.
Yep, for a lot of reasons.
But
Yeah.
not by chance.
No.
Yes,
That's for sure.
exactly. And you have to be thankful for the opportunity. Huh?
Yes, every day.
It's every day. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're at 20. Through means other than scientific investigation, is humankind able to receive communications of a higher order that transcend human senses? Yes. When God deems it useful, God reveals to human beings what science is incapable of teaching them. Through these communications, humans are able to obtain knowledge of their past and future destiny to a certain degree.
So here, Kardec asks the spirits, okay, we have the scientific investigation, but what about other means beyond scientific investigations? Can we receive instructions from the spirits? Actually,
Yes.
exactly what we have here in the spirits book, right? And the spirits answer, when God deems it useful. Okay, so God has moods. Sometimes God thinks is useful, sometimes God thinks it's not. No, God is perfect, so the law is perfect. So useful means when we reach a level of evolvement that receiving information from the spirits will help us progress, we are going to receive. That famous phrase of, I believe it's Thomas Edison, that the discoveries or the brilliant discoveries are 90% perspiration and 10% inspiration, or 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. I don't know what's the right numbers there, but it's exactly that, right? When we do our work, the spirits are going to help us to complement our work, to assist us. And when we reach something, we can say that is 100% our effort. It doesn't matter that part of it was the spirits assisting us. As long as we are making the effort, is 100% our merit. It's not 90% our merit and 10% the spirit's merit. We are going to say it's 100% our merit, because the moment we are doing our part, the spirits are going to assist us. But to sit it on a chair and wait for the spirits to give us all the work, that's not going to happen, right? Again, a student in college we will receive the teachings and the learning based on the knowledge they are supposed to have. If they don't have the knowledge or they don't make the effort, the information will be given, nothing will happen. In this case, the spirits will not even give the information to us if we are not doing our part. So the spirits explain to us exactly what Kardec says here, our knowledge of past and future destiny, meaning explains to us why we are here today, what happened, how did we get here, and what awaits for us in general terms. Again, when we talk about future predictions, we have to always be very careful, because we have free will and the future depends on our free will. So as Luis was reminding his class yesterday to his group, if there is something, a prediction of the future with exact dates and exact facts, be very careful with it, and it's better to discard it, because it's very likely that it's a misconception or is mystification. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, we finished this item already. Any questions, comments here? Moving fast today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's spirit and matter.
Now we're getting to
Mhm.
the learning that we need here to understand. Well, now we're getting to the complicated part.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, 21. Like God, has matter existed for all eternity, or was it created at some fixed point in time? Only God knows. However, one fact that reason should point out is that God, the ultimate paradigm of love and charity, is never inactive, no matter how far back in time you may imagine the beginning of God's action started. Can you deduce that God is ever idle, even for a single moment?
Okay, so that's a very good question, right?
Yeah.
Has matter existed for eternity? Because we know that God is eternal. And if God is eternal, has matter existed for eternity? And the spirits are very direct, only God knows. And for us, it's difficult to even, we have difficulty to understand God being eternal, right? It's already a problem for us to understand that. And by accepting, which is what the best we can do, that God is eternal and God never ceases to work, never ceases to create, then we can suppose or deduct that matter is being existed for all eternity because God existed for all eternity. But it's just a supposition. We don't know, only God knows. What we know that God is never idle. It's always creating. Spirits are always created at all times. And beyond that, it's very difficult for us to put into words and to explain and understand. Luis.
I love this question. And actually, I love the first part of the answer. Only God knows. That's great. That's fantastic. A way that I have to rationalize this is the following. I have no, what's the word? No information or clue or whatever that we are not bound by our universe. So I strongly believe that we are bound to this universe with those, trillions of billions of stars. It's large enough for us. Clearly, God is beyond the creation of this universe. So I think this is something that's very easy to accept. Only God knows. Who are we to know what happened, in relation to other universes, other creations that happened before? Time is something that is totally bound in our universe, as modern physics models and theory show. So only God knows is a fantastic answer for this. And I'm a very technical person, and I can find strong arguments to adhere to this answer. Sorry to share this, but I love that. Only God knows.
Mhm.
Yeah, I actually wanted your scientific opinion on this, so appreciate it. Elmo, anything to add here?
No, I think it's a beautiful philosophical conundrum that you're not gonna get out of it. It's the more we dig into it, I think the more lost we get, because indeed only God knows. If God is infinite and has created throughout infinity, then it presupposes the matter has been around through infinity, but at the same time, matter, as we know, has to have a beginning, has to have a point of ignition at one point. If it was created by God, then there was one point there was no matter. God created matter. How do you get it off this conundrum? It's basically impossible.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think when the part that you liked, only God knows, that Julian Luis mentioned, right? When the spirits answer only God knows, what they're telling us is, do not waste your time trying to find the answer for this, because you are going to get lost in it. And that's exactly what you said, Elmo. And I think it's it's a very good question, very good answer, and that's it, right? Let's understand that God is eternal, and God is never stopped creating, and never started creating, because it's eternal. But beyond that,
Yeah.
difficult to wrap our heads around it, right?
Okay, 22. Matter is generally defined as being that which makes an impression on our senses, or that which is impenetrable. Are these definitions adequate? From your point of view, they are adequate because you can only provide a definition according to what you know. Matter exists in states that are unfamiliar to you. It may be, for instance, so ethereal and subtle that it makes no impression on your senses. It is still matter, even though it would not be such for you. What definition can you give of matter? Matter is the link that bonds the spirit. It is the instrument that serves it, and at the same time, it carries out its action. From this point of view, one can say that matter is the agent or intermediary through and upon which the spirit acts.
Okay, so we're getting to the important part here that is very important for us to understand very clearly. Kardec asked the question, and again, this is a question from 1857. Matter was defined at that time, that which makes an impression on our sense, that which is impenetrable. And then the spirits answer that from your point of view, they're accurate, because that's what you know. But matter exists in states that are unfamiliar to you. And now we have found dark matter, antimatter, and other scientific discoveries in the universe, right? So the spirits are telling us what we were going to find later, that matter is so ethereal and subtle that makes no impression on your senses. So the definition that that which makes an impression on our senses is not correct, because there are things that do not make an impression on our senses. Matter, that is because it's so ethereal, but it's still matter. Again, we are going to study this a little bit in some questions, but we have the creation, we have the spirits or spiritual principle, and we have everything that derives from the universal fluid, which is from where what matter comes. And this encompasses everything, right? Everything that is not God and is not spirits, it comes from the universal fluid. So it is all the things that makes an impression on our senses, and things that do not make an impression on our senses. And then the spirits give the definition of matter according to our capacity to understand is what links the bonds, the link that bonds the spirit, right? So for us to act, we need matter. The instrument that serves the spirit carries out its action. So we the spirit, we think. The moment we think, the thought itself is already matter. For us to act on our thoughts, we have to use matter. We have to use our perispirit or our spiritual or our physical body if we are incarnated. So you see that from the moment a thought comes out of our mind, it's already utilizing matter. It's already, a thought is matter, and the energy that we put behind the thought, the energy, positive, negative, or neutral, is what is going to propel this thought and throws out in the universe and connect with other thoughts. As we know that for spirits, more evolved spirits to communicate, they can communicate through thought, but still the thought is matter, which is something that it was revealed to us later in the books of André Luiz, and we discuss all these subjects, right? So it's the concept of matter here. It's important to understand the basics, which is everything that is not God, not spirits or spiritual principle, is universal fluid, of which matter is a part of it. Luis.
Question, a sincere question. It's not a rhetorical question. I agree with you that the thought is matter. It propagates. We know that universal fluid also brings with him all the forces that are come together with the matter. A question. What about an idea? Is an idea matter? Universal fluid?
Define idea.
Okay, you threw it back. Next class.
Oh, because I don't know. I'm struggling here with the difference between idea and thought.
An idea is.
How do you reach an idea? It's a thought.
It's a spark. It's an inspiration. It's something that just come to us. Is it a thought? Is it the kind of thought that generates impressions on our perispirit? I don't know. I kind of could separate the two things. I really, it's a personal doubt. I'm not sure which way.
Elmo, any thoughts there? Or any ideas? No.
No, I'm sorry, it's muted by accident.
Yeah.
I am struggling also to differentiate thought from an idea. Although in my mind, it doesn't seem to be the same thing, but I'm really struggling to be able to differentiate them. I would philosophically speaking, not scientifically, I'd say just like thought, there is a creation of ours, and it is matter. Therefore, an idea would be matter also, but purely philosophical, of course.
So, on the chat here, I got idea is a structured thought. Thought constructs an idea. Okay. Again, definition. If that is the definition that you accept, then an idea is matter because it comes after thought. It's a structured thought. I'm just reflecting what according to the explanation you gave here, you that made it comment. If the idea is really a structured thought, then it's matter.
Yeah.
But
João,
let's research on it.
Okay. João, who said that? If I thought, I exist. If I
I think,
if I- if-
therefore I am.
I think before I am, there was
Descartes, isn't it?
Think,
Descartes.
therefore I am.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
René Descartes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if I exist, I am a matter.
No, I
Yeah.
am not matter. I am never matter. I am the spirit. The spirit's not matter. I have a physical body. I have a spiritual body, but I am not matter. That's very clear here that the spirit is not matter. As God, as we discussed in the previous item, as God is not matter, also the spirit is also not matter. It's part of the creation, but separate from the universal fluid that creates matter, that generates matter.
And
Luis.
João, our mind is in our spirit, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the mind is not matter.
Well, then you go into the mental body, right? If you are going to start discussing the mental body, the mental body is part of the spirit has a mental body. It's then it will be, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Neither do I.
Okay.
I mean, the
Very good.
brain might be differentiated from the mind, the big mind.
Oh, definitely, yes.
So
Yes.
that's
The brain is matter.
yeah. So we can divide
But
beyond
But the origin of the thought and the idea is the spirit. But once it comes out of the spirit, and again, I don't know if we call it mind or we have a better, we'll find a better word. Once it comes out, it becomes matter, the thought. And again, as it was said here, if idea is a structured thought, then idea is also matter. But one thing that it's not here, but it's important to reinforce that Dr. Sonia Doi said.
Oh yes, yes.
Thought is
Yeah.
neutral,
Neutral.
right?
Right.
Yes, that's very important. Thought is not positive, negative. It's neutral. The vibration that we put on the thought is that makes that thought positive, negative, or neutral. That's an important concept also.
Yeah.
Because and then you know when I was thinking about that, you think about something that happened to you. Someone killed you 10 incarnations ago, and you carry this anger and this desire of vengeance for incarnations after incarnations. Well, finally, you are able to forgive, and you really forgive, and you find peace within yourself. The thought will still exist because you still will remember what happened to you. So it will come to your mind, but you will no longer have a negative connotation in your mind. So the thought will cease to be negative. The vibration of the thought may be even with a positive vibration of love towards the spirit that caused you harm. So in that's when I found it very interesting, the concept of the neutrality of thought.
Yeah.
Like in a way, we have just the thought. A thought will arise, a thought will fall. However, if we add the weather report to it, you know, there's a feeling body behind it as well. So yeah, there's an additional to it.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, we have 4 minutes, and the next question is too good for us to do in 4 minutes.
Yes.
We're not going to discuss what is the spirit in 4 minutes. We want to talk more about that. So we are going to stop here. If someone has an additional comment, question, Luis, you open, but you didn't have anything to say. No. Okay. Elmo, anything else to add here?
No.
Oh. Okay, so we finished a little bit earlier, 4 minutes before, but we still have the prayer. So we discussed science a lot today, right? Or not a lot, but some. And the lecture we have this Saturday, he's been with us at SGNY, and you probably remember him, Álvaro Vanucci. You remember Marina Vanucci that used to go to attend our meetings, right? She used to be part of our group, and then she got pregnant, had a baby, and moved to New Jersey and stopped coming to our group, Marina. And her father gave us a couple of lectures already. Like I think he's been at SGNY 2-3 times. So the lecture this Saturday is with Álvaro Vanucci. He's a professor and research at the Physics Institute of the University of São Paulo. And he's a visiting scientist at the nuclear fusion laboratories in the UK, US, and Portugal. So he's been a spiritist for more than 40 years. And he's responsible for 2 weekly meetings at a group in São Paulo called Maria de Nazaré. And he's going to talk about reincarnation, faith against scientific evidences, talking about reincarnation. So I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. And you guys remember him, right? Elmo, I'm sure remembers.
Yeah,
but,
definitely. Very good.
Is he currently in Brazil or in England?
No, he lives in São Paulo. Yeah. Yeah. So so this Saturday, I highly recommend for those that like to study the scientific versus philosophical and religious aspect of spiritism. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. So this Saturday, 11 a.m. And if you have questions that you have after the lecture and you cannot have them answered, you can always come to our this Sunday when we are going to have our Q&A at 11 a.m. This is the last Sunday of the month, right, the 28th, and we are going to do our Q&A. Okay, so you're all invited for Sunday. And Carol, can you do our final prayer?
Wait a minute, John. What is
Yes,
this
Marisa.
20th anniversary of Spiritism? Is that the group?
Yes, this is the 20th anniversary of SGNY. Yes.
Wow.
We're going to have a big day. It's going to be April 11. April 11, we're going to have
a virtual
our anniversary, virtual. Yeah, it will be with members of SGNY, present and past, talking about the work and other things. We're going to give you all the information as we get closer, but you can save the date. April 11 is a Sunday. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh, okay? That's nice. And, okay.
Yes.
And you almost 21, huh?
Sorry? 20?
Almost 21.
Yes. 20th anniversary, 2021, April. Actually, the day that we opened SGNY was April 12th, but we're going to do April 11, which is a Sunday, which is more convenient for all of us, right?
Okay.
And me, Jussara, Elmo, and others. Zoraida is going to participate, and the other members that are part of our group are going to participate. Carol and all. All right. But we'll give you more information.
Okay.
Okay. Carol.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Thank you, Elmo, everyone. Infinite Creator, First Cause. We are grateful to be together this evening for our study of the Spirit's book. We are grateful to have the illumination, the enlightenment, and a deeper study within the Spirit's book of the first principles and of the spirit and matter issues, as well as pantheism. We are grateful for the words that have been presented to us through the codification of Allan Kardec. And we are grateful that we have the harmony within the group to share the studies together. May we continue to grow together and continue with these lessons. We are grateful to the spiritual benefactors, the good spirits who are with us this evening, guiding us and helping us to observe these lessons, to put them into practice, and to be more mindful of the details of these lessons. May we continue throughout the week with our prayers, with our studies, and with our mindfulness. May we always use the golden rule to assist others. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We are grateful for what we have learned, for what we have shared. We are grateful for the medium of the connectivity through Zoom. During the week, may we continue to share our blessings with others. We are always grateful for what we have received and what we will continue to receive. May we close this meeting now and humbly ask for safety, protection as we go forth to family, friends, loved ones, and coworkers. We are never alone. We always have the resources if we truly ask and do our part. We close now and ask to receive the love and light of Christ within us, to share it with others, our family, friends, and loved ones who may be in need of healing, a greater understanding during this time. We close now and remember that we are beacons of light. May we go forth in this way throughout the week. So be it.